In today's video, I'm going to talk you through the exercises that you need to do during the early stages of your hip replacement. So we're talking probably day 1 post-op to approximately week 2 to 4. And make sure you stay tuned until the very end, as I will be giving you some useful hints and tips to help manage your hip replacement along the way. I'm going to start right now. A quick note of caution before we get into the exercises, and that is, please do not underestimate the fact that you have had a very invasive surgery. Now, as a result, you will be experiencing some discomfort and probably some pain afterwards. Now, in order to get the most out of your hip replacement and in order for you to recover as quickly as possible, the rehabilitation is priority number 1. However, you will only feel like doing that and you will only be able to do that if your pain is well controlled. So do make sure that you are consistently liaising with your healthcare team to make sure you have adequate pain relief. It's important to know that for the majority of you, you will be fully weight bearing on that leg as pain allows day 1 post-op. So that means you can do the majority of these exercises as your pain allows on the day you've had the surgery. Another quick thing to mention is that if you're having a hip replacement, depending on who your surgeon is, they may have placed precautions on the amount of movement that you're allowed to do from your hip joint for a few weeks post-op. So do make sure you double check that with whoever your surgeon is so you know what you're allowed to do and when you're allowed to move more after your surgery. So with that in mind, we're just going to start off with some very gentle range of movement exercises for your ankle, knee and hip. And you could do these as soon as you wake up after your surgery if you're feeling up for it. Now, very simply, you're just going to do some ankle pumps. You're going to also get the knee and the hip moving. So you're going to do some heel slides, slowly trying to bring your heel up to your bottom. You probably won't get that far and that's absolutely fine. And the hip is likely to feel tight, stiff and painful. And again, just work into whatever feels comfortable. The muscles around your hips, your glutes, are also going to be very weak after the surgery. Now, the simplest way that you can try and strengthen them is just to squeeze your bum cheeks together really hard. So you won't see much going on in this exercise, but I'm just tensing my bottom, hold for 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax, and then squeeze, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. You can do as many of these as you want, and you can do them in lying, sitting, or standing, so they're exceptionally practical to do. I'm going to do these exercises in this position, but you may feel more comfortable lying completely flat. The first one is to try and strengthen your thigh muscle. You're going to bring your toes towards you, and you're going to squeeze and tense that thigh muscle as hard as you can for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. And then bring your toes towards you, squeeze, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. If that feels okay, you can also try a straight leg raise, which will also get your thigh muscle at the front stronger. So you're going to do the same thing, clench the thigh muscle, and then try and lift your leg off the bed. You can hold for a few seconds and then slowly lower down, lift off the bed, hold for a few seconds, and then slowly lower down. Now, initially, your leg is likely to feel heavy, swollen. It's often described as a dead weight. Now, you might find that you can't get the leg off the bed at all initially, which is very typical and normal. But this is a nice exercise to measure your improvement going forwards, because if in week 1 you can only get it to here, but by week 4 or 6 you can get it a lot higher, you know that you're getting stronger and your hip is getting better. Apologies, I'm interrupting just for a second to say, if you are enjoying this video and you would like to know more about osteoarthritis and all other things of pain and rehabilitation, then hit that subscribe button so you get notified every time I release a new video, which I do every single week. Thank you very much for watching and enjoy the rest of this one. The last exercise that you can try on the bed to try and get the hip moving and a little bit stronger straight after you've had the surgery is hip abduction. So you're going to keep your knee straight and you're just slowly going to try and lift the leg out to the side and then slowly back to the middle, slowly out to the side, and slowly back to the middle. If you did want to make this a little bit harder because you were finding it quite easy, you could lift your leg slightly off the bed and then bring it out to the side and back in and down, up, out, in and down. In sitting, as mentioned before, you can do your bottom squeezes, but you can also do some heel raises to try and get your calves stronger again, and also this will help to dissipate some of that swelling. The other thing you can do sat down is some knee extensions. So trying to get the thigh muscles slightly stronger by straightening the knee and bringing the leg back down, straightening the knee and bringing the leg back down. Now there are a few exercises that you can do in standing as well, and these will help that all important glute strength. Now they are in standing, so make sure that you have something nice and stable to hold on to, either the back of a chair, dining room table or kitchen surface will all do the job just fine. Now hold on tight, make sure you feel nice and safe. With regards to hip flexion, you're aiming for 90 degrees at the knee, 90 degrees at the hip, and then slowly back down. If you can't manage 90 degrees, then just do whatever your pain allows you to do, and then you can progress as tolerated. The next movement is the opposite, so we're going to do hip extension. Make sure you're holding on, and then you're going to bring the leg back and slowly forward, bring the leg back and slowly forwards. You should feel the muscles around the hip working. Now, with all of these standing exercises, do try and make sure you don't compensate with your trunk. So typically what we see is leg goes back, trunk goes forwards. Try and make sure that your trunk stays nice and upright when you complete the exercise. Moving on to hip abduction, make sure you are nice and stable, and then you're going to bring your leg out to the side, keep your knees straight and toes pointing forward, and then lift the leg out to the side. Things that people typically do wrong with this one, again, compensating and turning through the trunk, and also turning the toes out to the side when the leg comes out. You need to make sure that your toes are facing forwards the whole time. Now there are just a couple more things that we need to get right before we move on to the latter exercises for your hip replacement. The first one is weight bearing. We need to get you comfortable and confident putting weight through that affected leg. So we're going to get back in standing again, make sure you're next to something stable that you can hold on to, and we're going to practice trying to get some normal weight through that affected side. So start off with equal weight going through both legs, so we're aiming for 50% each side. And then as you feel comfortable, you can start swaying from side to side, so you start to get more weight through the affected side. And when you feel comfortable with some support, you can build that up to a single leg stand with support. And when you feel comfortable with that, you can practice a few seconds at a time, hands off the stable surface, and just practicing a single leg stand without any support at all. Another very, very important thing to get right is your walking pattern or your gait pattern. Now you will be walking probably with some walking aids in the form of some crutches, and it is not a sign that you're getting better really quickly if you get rid of them really quickly, but you're still walking with a limp. It's much better to hold on to your walking aids for a little bit longer to get your gait pattern as close to normal as possible, rather than getting rid of them really early and then continuing to walk with a limp for a prolonged period of time. Just so we're clear on what a normal gait pattern looks like, we're going to run through it now. So after a hip replacement, you are still aiming for a bend at the hip, a bend at the knee, and then as you stride forwards, you should have a dead straight knee, heel strikes first, toes pointing up, and then you roll forwards through your foot, and then the same happens on the other side. Bent knee, bent hip, heel strike, and then you push off your back toes, and then you do the same again. Typically, what will happen if you've had a hip replacement is you will swing the leg around and avoid bending the knee and hip. So make sure you're getting that bend in the hip, bend in the knee, stretch forwards. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you found today's video useful. There are some additional resources in the description below the video to help you manage your arthritis and joint replacement better at home. And I'd love to hear from you. So do drop me a comment below the video and let me know which exercise from today you have found most useful. If you are new to the channel, then please do hit that subscribe button so you get notified every time I release a new video, which I do every single week. And if you're feeling very generous, then please hit the like button whilst you're there. If you have found this video useful, you may also like the video that I have put together on hip arthritis exercises, and there is a whole playlist on the channel to help you manage your arthritis better at home. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I will see you again very soon.